If you start a YouTube channel and you have 2 views, that's embarrassing. But if you have 2,000, then that's cool. I find our general attitude towards being a beginner so judgmental, negative, backwards, pressurizing, and counterproductive that I don't understand how we are even supposed to start doing something effectively, or why there is just so much friction in the way of getting started with something new as an adult. There are so many people that I know that end up quitting things very, very early because that outwards pressure becomes too much. I also know people who never even get started, which is in a way even sadder, with things because they are too embarrassed to kind of have other people know that they want to try something new. And in general, it's actually these sorts of people who, on top of that outwards pressure, are their own bigger bullies and have internalized these sorts of thoughts of kind of unworthiness and embarrassment for doing things because it just will bring all this judgment from people who know them. And it's actually quite funny because, in a way, for example, for a lot of these people who, let's say they want to start a YouTube channel, if I could guarantee that they would have 5,000 subscribers from day one, they would immediately start it, because all of that kind of pressure would go away. And in the same way, people who never apply to medicine because they think they are not going to be good enough, if I could guarantee that they could get into medical school, they would probably end up becoming excellent doctors. So I just find it very, very frustrating how many roadblocks we have put in place of ourselves as adults to get started with doing things, and why we are so unaccepting of being terrible at things at the start, and why we don't respect people who actually try new things a lot more than we do. The thing is, it's not just starting a YouTube channel, it is the first time that people go into surgery that they are scared of being a beginner. I know a lot of my friends who are now becoming foundation year doctors and they are completely terrified to be a beginner at this thing, or it's even people using chopsticks for the first time. They just find it super embarrassing and scary to do it. I find it so funny that as adults we look down on people who are beginners rather than kind of respecting them, because there is nothing more terrifying and humbling than being a beginner at all. It's so terrifying to start something that you can't control, that you don't know how good or bad you will be at, especially when this thing is done in public. All my life I avoided this completely. I only stuck to things that I knew I was good at, which were science and school. I never actually went out of this. And just to clarify, I am definitely 100% projecting, and this is coming because of how much pressure I have felt in this thing in general, and how much kind of internalized pressure I had towards being a beginner. But I will say right now, I have never told anyone in real life that I have a YouTube channel. I just find it so scary to say that out loud in person, because I feel as though I am just like such a beginner at this thing, and it's really, really embarrassing to be a beginner. And sometimes I look back on my videos and I think that was so amateur and that was so bad, and you completely messed your point up and you didn't say the thing that you had in mind and it doesn't come across well. And I think, oh, this is so embarrassing. And instead of thinking that, oh yes, I am a beginner, it's been only a few months that I've been doing this thing and obviously it will improve, and therefore kind of admitting that out loud, I am the first person who will just like keep it under wraps unless someone already knows, and then I'll say, oh yeah I do, and just like end the conversation there. So I think this is one of the things that kind of spurred my frustration, but especially trying to see other people get started with changing their lives or turning their kind of careers around, and seeing how scared we are at just starting things from the beginning, that I thought, what is this? Why are we doing this? This is so brave and incredible. I love Ryan Holiday's 3 points on being a beginner. He says that when you are just starting, you can be sure of a few fundamental realities. Number 1, you are not as good, as important as you think you are. Number 2, you have an attitude that needs readjusting. And number 3, most of the things that you have learned in book or school is outdated and wrong. And I feel like this just shows the kind of experience that everyone who starts things from scratch has to go through, and they are being kind of worn down already by the task of kind of relearning everything that they need to do and readjusting themselves and humbling themselves. That's on top of that, just having this kind of internal pressure, which is very hard to get rid of. But adding then on top of that the external pressure, it just becomes too much. So they never end up doing things that they can be doing, or like in my case, the things that we are doing anyway just become not as pleasurable as they could be, and they become a lot of pressure. So today I just felt like going on this rant and kind of emphasizing that being a beginner is actually incredibly cool. It takes so much bravery. It is such a humbling and incredible experience, and I think we should not judge them as much as we do. I love this phrase from Samuel Johnson, which says, when a dog walks on his hind legs, it's not how well he does it, but that he does it at all. Or the waltzing bear quote, which I quote a lot more, which is along the lines of, if you see a waltzing bear, it's not how delicately he does it, but that he waltzes at all. And I think when we are going outside our comfort zone, especially when we are completely turning around and doing something that we've we've never done before and are complete amateurs. We are waltzing bears, we are dogs walking on our hind legs. It is supposed to be ridiculous. It's not supposed to be incredible. The incredible part is that we did it at all. So yes, actually I think there is something so much cooler and braver when you're putting out YouTube videos to 2 viewers than when you're putting them out to 2 million viewers, because it takes a whole different type of strength to do that thing in the first case. So yeah, when your friends from back home are starting TikTok channels, or you know, your neighbor in his 40s is deciding to go into medicine or fishing or whatever, I think that should be actually a very, very, very cool thing. I wish as a society we started to become a bit less judgmental towards this, and especially I wish we were a bit less judgmental towards ourselves when we're doing these things. But yes, that is me, rant over. Thanks so much for listening if you did, and I do hope that if there's something that you have wanted to do in the past or something that you still want to do and you're scared of being a beginner in, just go for it and good luck, because it's absolutely incredible. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to me if you did. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Be kind to yourself and others, and don't believe everything you think. Thanks. Bye.